Every single house that we've inspected and we are representing from Hurricane Ian has been either underpaid, grossly underpaid, denied, or the insurance company has not even sent out an adjuster yet. And we are now approximately 7 to 8 weeks after Hurricane Ian made landfall. When a hurricane such as Ian, the strength of Ian, hits, the insurance company sends out adjusters that are not qualified. There's no easy way to say it. They're just not qualified adjusters. They come to your house from all over the states. They get a couple hundred claims per adjuster. They go to your house very quickly. They don't do proper inspections. Anybody that's trying to sell you for more than 10% is committing fraud on the highest extent. Don't get fooled. Don't hire attorneys to represent your insurance claim from the beginning, because they will sign you on contracts, which I've seen personally, for 20 to 33%. That's before even them doing anything. And they don't know how to adjust an insurance claim.
You are listening to the Insurance Corner podcast. This podcast is presented by Florida Public Adjusting. Tune in to get tips, information, and valuable pieces of advice on how to best handle common problems homeowners face with insurance providers.
Hurricane Ian left behind approximately $50 billion in damages throughout the entire state of Florida. Thousands of people have lost their homes. Thousands of people misplaced, losing everything that they own. To really put it into perspective, you would take the size of Hurricane Irma with the strength of Hurricane Michael, and that is a catastrophe that we're dealing with. This was a very powerful storm that didn't just pass the state of Florida. It didn't go through slowly. It stayed there for 8 to 9 hours. People were holding on for their dear lives just to survive.
Please keep going. Oh my God, go, 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 go. Oh my God, please keep going.
By now, we're 7 weeks past the hurricane. Insurance companies should have already issued you payments, inspect your properties. We're finding out that the payments are minimal to nothing, under deductible, and thousands of people that still have not had their houses inspected by the insurance companies. This is a time where if you were affected by Hurricane Ian, you should contact us immediately. It's a free inspection. We don't charge to come out. We do a full evaluation of your policy. We take a full look at your claim from beginning to end, and we make sure that you get covered for what you need to bring your life back together. Don't get taken advantage of by your insurance company. We take care of the claims process from A to Z. We make sure that you're fully recovered, and we get you whole again. Today we're going to do a very special episode on Hurricane Ian, covering everything from underpayments, under-deductible letters that you may have received already, insurance denials, whether it's coming from your flood insurance or your wind insurance. Today is an episode that you want to tap into to find out everything you need to know about Hurricane Ian and how to get properly reimbursed for all your damages. Every single house that we've inspected and we are representing from Hurricane Ian has been either underpaid, grossly underpaid, denied, or the insurance company has not even sent out an adjuster yet. And we are now approximately 7 to 8 weeks after Hurricane Ian made landfall. When a hurricane such as Ian, the strength of Ian, hits, the insurance company sends out adjusters that are not qualified. There's no easy way to say it. They're just not qualified adjusters. They come to your house from all over the states. They look for this, they storm chase. They get a couple hundred claims per adjuster. They go to your house very quickly. They don't do proper inspections. They take a couple pictures, send it into the examiner, and then the insurance company says, well, you know what? We did our first part by having the property inspected. But it's not correct. It's not the way it's supposed to be done. I'm not saying that every insurance company does this, but it's one of the most common things that we see, especially in this storm today, when insureds and policyholders, homeowners that have over hundreds of thousands of dollars of damages, and they're only receiving payments of $500, $600, $5,000, $10,000, even $30,000. It's not enough. I'm going to put it very simple. To an insurance company, you are nothing more than just a claim number. To Florida Public Adjusting, to us, you are our client, and we won't stop until you get paid 100%. What the insurance companies pry on are people that get the insurance checks and say, well, whatever, it's not enough, but okay, I'll just have to go out of pocket. Well, you don't have to go out of pocket. There are options. You're not alone. You could have an adjuster that represents you to make sure that you get fully recovered. Because the irony in what the insurance companies like to do is they'll give you an underpayment, or they won't even give you a payment at all and say it's under deductible. A few months later, because this catastrophe of a storm hit, they will now send home inspectors to take a look at your house. And they are more thorough. They will go through each area of your house to see what was damaged. Now, if you don't fix that, because they'll send you a nice letter on, well, you need to replace your roof, you need to replace your fence, you need to replace your AC, you need to replace your windows. And if you don't, well, then they're going to cancel your insurance. So not only do they go initially and give you an underpayment and under deductible letter or just not enough money at all, they will later on send out inspectors to evaluate, do a 4-point inspection on your home, and then deny coverage because you have damages that were not fixed, regardless that they were initially there to go and fix those damages for you. There are a lot of people out there today that are knocking on doors and cold calling. And number one, if you're cold calling, you need to be licensed. You have to be a licensed adjuster. You can't just pick up the phone or hire a team of people to just start cold calling areas. So the best way to protect yourself and to make sure that you know who it is that you're talking to and who is going to be handling your insurance claim is just by asking them straight up for their license number. Do a Google search. Take your cell phone out. It'll take 10 seconds. Look up their license number. Make sure that they're licensed. Make sure they're insured and bonded, and make sure it's current. There are a lot of people scamming today. There are a lot of people door knocking and having one person sign a contract, and then there's 15 other people that are coming through because you're a hot lead. Don't be a hot lead. Be mindful. Be smart. Use your common sense. Don't allow yourself to get taken advantage of. It's a very, very sensitive time because a lot of people are going through shock, still in recovery, lost everything, picking up pieces of their lives and trying to put it back together. Hiring a public adjuster is 100% on contingency. And during a named storm, the fee is 10%. Anybody that's trying to sell you for more than 10% is committing fraud on the highest extent. Don't get fooled. Don't hire attorneys to represent your insurance claim from the beginning, because they will sign you on contracts, which I've seen personally, for 20 to 33%. That's before even them doing anything. And they don't know how to adjust an insurance claim. They know how to file a lawsuit. And there's a big difference, because filing a lawsuit needs to have substance. And the substance is created from the public adjuster, who is going to literally go and document and adjust your house from the beginning to the end. There are people that take advantage of people that are in a very vulnerable state. So please make sure that you read everything before signing. It's super important. Further than, attorneys trying to taking advantage of homeowners in this position. And I'm not saying that attorneys are not good. Attorneys are good when they're needed. When you're filing an insurance claim and you need an adjuster to create a case, that's not in a time an attorney is needed. And a time an attorney could be used is when you hit a stone or brick wall and the insurance carrier is not complying with their contract, your policy, and breaching the statutes. An attorney's role in an insurance claim should only be after there's nowhere else to go. So it's worst case scenario. However, from the get-go of an insurance claim, it's very important that you watch what you sign. And people are door knocking. You got to be careful for those people, because you don't know who they are representing. A lot of people are not reading paperwork and then trying to contact us afterwards to save them from these situations. Please read before you sign. There's another player that I've seen in this storm in particular, which I haven't seen before. I have, but not at this scale. Roofing companies are outright scamming people. They are having them sign contracts to take their entire benefits. That means not just the roof. Whatever that insurance indemnity check is, they are entitled to it. Now, it was supposed to be illegal from after Hurricane Michael. However, they found a little bit of a loophole where if they have the insured call on the claim, then they able to do whatever they want, or at least they'll try to. It's very, very important that you watch and you look out and you use your sense, use your common sense, use your vibe. If you feel like this person's a good person or a bad person, use your instincts and be careful of what you sign, because it could really, really harm you. And these people will literally take your money and run. I've seen it. I've seen it before. I've seen it in Irma. I've seen it in Michael. I've seen it in Sally. And I don't want to see it over here in Ian. So please just beware, be mindful, and be safe. We're still going through introducing what a public adjuster is to a lot of people out in the West Coast. And it's very simple. When you have an insurance claim, you need a public adjuster. We advocate on your behalf to make sure that you're fully indemnified. You're leaving yourself in a very vulnerable position when you put your faith in the insurance company. To an insurance company, you are just a claim number. To us, you are our clients. We make sure that you get fully indemnified. Every speck of your house is inspected, every inch of your house is inspected in order for it to be brought back to pre-loss condition. What we do as public adjusters is we write estimates based on the actual damages that were sustained to your property. We understand the laws, we understand the contract, and the contract, I mean the policy. We understand the statutes, we understand what you're entitled to, and then we go fight for it. To better understand how a public adjuster is able to do what we do, your insurance policy is a contract. And just like any contract, it protects you and it protects the insurance company. Each party has their responsibilities. In order for us as public adjusters to do what we do, you have areas in your policy, in your insurance contract, that are there to protect you. You also have Florida statutes that also protect you as the insured. And using your policy, your contract, and the Florida statutes, it allows us to really go and step up and bat for you. Our job as public adjusters are to maximize your compensation to make sure that you're fully recovered. Obviously, there are no guarantees. We still go up to battle with the insurance company. However, when we go up to battle, we come fully prepared. We write what you're entitled to, not what the insurance company wants to pay you. You're leaving yourself in a very vulnerable position when you put your faith in the insurance company. If you have to go to court, you're not representing yourself. You're going to hire an attorney. So too, when you have an insurance claim, you don't want to represent yourself because it's not it's not your expertise. This is what we do for a living, and we've been doing it for 12 years strong, and we've helped thousands of people get recovered. It is imperative that if you have an insurance claim, that you contact an adjuster that's going to represent you, a public adjuster that will have your interests at heart and not the insurance carriers. Hiring a public adjuster is 100% on contingency, and during a named storm, the fee is 10%. Anybody that's trying to sell you for more than 10% is committing fraud on the highest extent. Some areas in Florida are required to have flood insurance. Most of the areas that got affected by Hurricane Ian, they were required to have flood insurance. In a storm like this, where you have flood and you have wind, the greatest game these insurance companies like to play is point the finger to one to the other. So you say, hey, you know what, that's not covered under wind. And then the flood guy is like, well, you know what, that's not covered under flood. And then what happens? These two insurance companies start to fight, and who loses? You lose. You need an expert on your side to literally draw the line for these people, to make them understand that your flood is flood and your wind is wind, and this was affected by wind and this was affected by flood. We draw that line for you so that these people could write you your checks. And this is one of the biggest arguments, or this is one of the biggest issues that you have when a hurricane like this hits, because you do have 5 feet of flood in a house or 6 feet of flood in a house. Meanwhile, the roof is blown off and you have damage to your ceilings, and then the flood will be like, well, you know, your ceilings are damaged, and then the wind will be like, well, they just point fingers. It doesn't make any sense. Most of the time, they all walk away just underpaying both sides, and that's where we really shine. One thing you could do before hiring your public adjuster, if you want to just find out if they're qualified, is just by asking them straight up for their license number. Do a Google search. Take your cell phone out, take 10 seconds, look up their license number, make sure that they're licensed, make sure they're insured and bonded, and make sure it's current. But also, if he was a real estate agent 2 weeks ago and now he's a public adjuster, he probably does not have the experience that he needs to bring your house back to pre-loss condition. So be mindful, again, use your common sense. If the guy was, selling mortgages a month ago, he's probably not a good public adjuster. Over here at Florida Public Adjusting, we have over 25 years of combined experience. A lot of calls come through and people are under the impression that they don't have enough damage to claim, and they ask us questions, Josh, is it something worth it? I don't want to waste your time. Let us do an inspection, because what you might think is small, we might see as a really serious issue that needs to be resolved, in this insurance claim because it was affected by this hurricane. So there is no claim too small and there is no claim too big that we can't handle, but don't hesitate to call us, because if you might think something's not worth it, we see a much different picture, and you might think it's $5,000 to fix and we get a settlement of $150,000 to fix. Yeah, we get those questions a lot, and people are like, no, I don't know. But then you go there and the claim is actually not $10,000, it's $150,000. So we know what to look for. This is what we do for a living. Give us a call today at 305-542-5999 and we will get you fully indemnified. So according to the Florida statutes, you have 2 years to file your insurance claim. But do not wait to file your insurance claim, because the insurance carrier, just like the insurance carrier has to abide by their contract, their policy, you do as well as the insured and the homeowner or the policyholder, whether it's commercial or residential. You also have your obligations and your duties as a policyholder. So one of those things are when you know that you have a claim, or you see damages, you have a claim and you see damages, you file the claim right away, or you call us and we'll file the claim for you. But either way, the claim has to be filed. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't say, I'm going to try and fix it by myself, and then 6 months later, the roof is leaking and every window is water's coming through. It's going to be too late. So if you have an insurance claim, if you had damages, you were affected by the hurricane, call us today, 305-542-5999. We will come out. It's a free inspection, and we'll make sure that you get fully recovered. So the way the insurance adjuster and the way we write our estimates are based on the physical damage that is at the property. We take down our measurements, we take our photos, and then we build an estimate based on the actual damages that the property sustained as a result of Hurricane Ian. So when an insurance company writes an estimate, they are typically supposed to do the same thing. However, when you have, half the roof of shingles missing and the adjuster's standing there counting each shingle, you understand that the guy they don't have no idea what they're doing. So typically they're supposed to write the estimate to bring you back to pre-loss condition, and if you do have damages over a deductible, then it shouldn't make a difference whether the deductible is $5,000 or $10,000. If you have $15,000 in damages, your deductible is $10,000. You should receive a check for $5,000. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Florida Public Adjusting was one of the first companies that were on the island before even some of the Coast Guard, before even restoration companies. The bridges were still down. We happened to have clients from the East Coast, which took us immediately there. They said, listen, you know what? We've been through claims before. We don't want to deal with our insurance companies at all. We know exactly how they operate. We're not interested. We want you to take these claims from the get-go. And I'm so happy that we've had that opportunity, because still on these islands, they haven't received initial payments. Insurance companies haven't given them a dime. There are houses that still haven't been inspected by insurance companies. So for us to be able to get there and do what we need to do as quickly as possible just pushes the process along so that they will be indemnified regardless of what the insurance company, when they get their act together and they say, okay, now we'll inspect your house. So it's super important that, especially in a time like this, you need to have representation. And Florida Public Adjusting, we're here for you. This is not our first rodeo. We're not alone. We're not a one-man band in the back of a car typing up estimates and stuff. We have an entire back office, support staff. We have engineers, experts. At Florida Public Adjusting, we have over 25 years of combined experience. We have worked countless storms such as Irma, Michael, Sally, Etta, you name it, we've done it. We've filed over, at this point, I think like 4,000 claims. And I'm very happy to say that every single one of those claims are going the way they're supposed to. We've also received phone calls that, people ask us, is our claim too small? And I always tell them that it doesn't matter if you have a $10,000 claim or $1 million claim. We treat every single client the same way. And we work on your claim just as if it's the most important thing that we have in our office.